In October, the January 6th committee issued a subpoena to Donald Trump seeking access to various records from his time in the White House. Now, this was a clear violation of the principle of separation of powers, and it was done for political reasons. So Harmeet Dhillon filed a lawsuit against the January 6th committee to contest the subpoena, and this week the committee backed down and withdrew that subpoena. Now, Harmeet Dhillon is the head of Dhillon Law Group. She's also running to be chair of the RNC. Harmeet, thank you so much for being here. I wonder if you could just start off with a little bit of context for those at home who wonder, what was the big deal about this subpoena? Why did it warrant a lawsuit? And why is it important for the country that you prevailed in this lawsuit?
Well, thank you for asking, Tulsi. So this January 6th committee, as we all know, has been going on for a year and a half, and I would call it an extended advertisement with no actual legal significance, but all political by the January 6th committee and the Democrats. They pretty much used it as a commercial for their own side for the midterm election. So now the only correct purpose of a House Select Committee investigation is really towards legislation. And in this case, the one piece of legislation that came out of the January 6th committee was passed in September, having to do with the Electoral Count Act. And so after that is when they issued the subpoena for Donald Trump and sought extensive records, I mean, to the point of probably would have been hundreds of thousands of documents from his presidency. And so the reason why we fought back is really to stand for the principle of separation of powers. And this is not the first time that a president or former president has been subpoenaed by the House, and it would have been the first time that one actually testified if he had gone forward and had not quashed the subpoena. In fact, President Truman, many years ago, was also subpoenaed after he left office, and he very clearly articulated the same principles that we did in our lawsuit. So in addition to being overbroad, in addition to being vague, in addition to not pursuing a proper legislative purpose, we articulated separation of powers issues, and we filed that lawsuit in Florida, where President Trump lives. And, you know, some people are saying, oh, Harmeet, they just let the clock run out, you know, that it's no big deal. But actually, if the House wanted to fight our lawsuit, they could have immediately stepped up. They were served promptly. They could have stepped up and engaged with us and had a court ruling on the issue. They did not want a court ruling on the issue. They knew they were wrong. They knew they were likely to lose. And as a result, they never fought us in court. And, you know, they had to back down yesterday. So we're very pleased with the results for the office of the presidency and for the concept of separation of powers.
Yeah, Harmeet, their reaction and response literally proves your point, right? That this was about political moves before the election. It was about posturing, and it was about continuing to show their own political objectives that they were pursuing, knowing that it was a futile effort from the beginning. Thank you so much for your expertise and your leadership and voice on this and so many other issues.
Thank you, Tulsi.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson Tonight.